A fake parent don't touch my baby.
Alex came to my house with Emma and their newborn. When Emma stepped out of the room, the baby seemed to feel anxious without her mom and began to cry. However, Alex made no attempt to comfort his baby. Seeing this, I tried to pick up my grandchild, but Alex raised his voice, stopping me in my tracks, and hurled those shocking words at me, leading to an argument between us. Just then, Emma walked back into the room and was stunned by what she saw.
You don't know?
Emma revealed a shocking truth to Alex, who had just done something unbelievable. My name is Catherine. I'm a 47-year-old pianist. I have a son, Alex. It's been 19 years since we became a family. I've had quite a tumultuous life. Alex isn't my biological son. When he was 3, I remarried his biological dad. In other words, he's my husband's child from a previous marriage. It seems his ex-wife left Alex behind when she left. From the moment I decided to remarry, I was determined to be Alex's mom. I was happy to be a family of 3, my husband and Alex. However, as soon as my husband and I got married, he started seeing someone else and divorced me. To escape from raising a child, he dumped Alex on me.
There's no way I can raise a kid. I'll pay you money. So, I'm begging you.
He said that and ran off to his mistress's place, refusing even to meet us. I tried visiting several times and explained the situation to his mistress, but she threatened to call the police and shut the door. I also went to explain things to his parents, but they treated me the same way, leaving me completely helpless. Everyone just kept passing Alex around. Feeling utterly lost, I even thought about putting Alex into foster care. But seeing Alex cling to me, crying and refusing to let go, I just couldn't abandon him. Even though only a year had passed since I married my ex-husband, Alex was so honest and pure at that time. Having never been properly loved by his real parents, he probably felt he could trust me for taking care of him. As I threw myself into raising him, he grew very attached to me. Because of that, I decided to raise him myself. I ended things with my ex-husband on the condition that he'd pay alimony and child support, and I committed myself to protecting and raising Alex. However, when Alex became a college student, he saw my photo album I had in my room and found out he wasn't my biological son. Realizing that his dad had abandoned him, Alex became reckless and started taking out his frustrations on me. Whenever something upset him, Alex would throw things at me, and sometimes he even destroyed the walls. He probably couldn't forgive me for keeping everything a secret. Every time he acted out, he hurled insults at me. Please, Alex, stop this. You're going to destroy my house.
Shut up. You're not even my real mom, so don't act all high and mighty.
Now that Alex was in college and had grown stronger, there was no way I could stop him. He destroyed everything in the living room.
If you're not my real parent, then I don't have any reason to listen to you, right? Don't try to control me anymore.
He left me with those cruel words and disappeared into his room. This led him to stop going to college and to get involved with bad boys. He hardly ever came home, leaving me feeling completely helpless. It might be hopeless. The one who saved me was Alex's childhood friend, Emma. Emma was a student at my piano school and also Alex's girlfriend. She was such a good girl, far too good for Alex, and she often tried to reason with him. Thanks to Emma, Alex eventually turned his life around and started attending college again. Because of that, he managed to graduate college and got a job at a factory. He and Emma even got married. But things between Alex and me remained strained, and he barely spoke to me.
I'm only around you because of Emma. If it were up to me, I wouldn't even want to see your face.
He continued to treat me coldly. Emma tried many times to convince him, but it seemed this was the one thing he couldn't compromise on, and his attitude towards me never changed when they were alone.
How long is Alex going to keep up that attitude? He's an adult now, a working professional. It is time for him to change his attitude.
Thank you, Emma. You've had to deal with so much, even before you got married, and now, even after, you're still putting up with this. I'm really sorry.
Don't worry about it, Catherine. My parents and I know how hard things have been for you. Besides, the reason I love playing the piano is because of you. This doesn't even begin to repay you.
Emma's smile as she said this warmed my heart.
Hey, Catherine, can I see that piano again today?
Of course. Emma's favorite is the crystal piano in my practice room. I use it only once for a performance, but Emma happened to attend that concert as part of a school event when she was a child. Since then, she's been absolutely in love with the crystal piano. She'd often peek at it to boost her motivation for practice.
One day, I'd love to let the kids hear the sound of that piano.
When you become a preschool teacher, Emma, I'll come to your school and give a concert.
Really?
Emma's dream is to become a preschool teacher, and she's almost finished with her degree. Just as she was pursuing that dream, Emma discovered she was pregnant. By the time they realized it, she was already past 22 weeks, so both Alex and Emma decided to go through with the pregnancy. After the stable period passed, they got married, and from there, it was a whirlwind. They prepared for their baby goods, attended checkups, and handled paperwork, and time flew by, and suddenly, the birthday was here. And today, I'm going to meet my grandchild for the first time. I couldn't visit during Emma's hospital stay to give them some space, but she called after being discharged and said they'd be coming over with the baby. Alex would be coming too, and I couldn't help but feel a mix of nerves and excitement. Since then, Alex and I have managed to maintain a somewhat decent relationship, though it's still not perfect. He still doesn't speak to me much, but at least he stopped hurling insults every time we see each other. I thought he had finally matured, but reality, as always, was more complicated. As I finished preparing to welcome them and took a moment to catch my breath, the doorbell rang. It's finally happening. I headed to the door, my heart racing with excitement. Welcome. I slowly opened the door and looked up to see Emma holding a small baby girl wrapped in a swaddle, gazing at her lovingly.
Hello, Catherine.
Emma's expression had softened, and she looked more like a mother now after giving birth. Since Alex was parking the car, I invited Emma and baby girl into the living room. Congratulations on the birth. It must have been tough. Here, I got some baby clothes as a gift. I didn't know the gender, so I picked something that would work either way.
Oh, how cute. It's perfect, especially with summer coming. Oh, my baby, this is Catherine.
Emma continued to call me by my name instead of Grandma, because she wanted her baby to remember my name.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Alex came in a little later, and for some reason, he sat down between me and Emma, almost as if he was trying to keep the baby away from me. Hey, if you sit there, I can't see her cute little face.
It's fine. I want to sit here.
Although our relationship had improved somewhat, it still wasn't fully mended. Now, with Emma around, he's a bit more tolerable than usual. However, whenever I tried to peek, Alex would give me a harsh glare. At that moment, Emma stepped out to take a call from her parents. Sensing her mom's absence, the baby started to cry. I thought she might be hungry, so I turned to ask Alex, but he was busy on his phone and showed no intention of helping. Seeing no other option, I decided to pick up the baby myself.
Don't touch her.
Just then, sensing my actions, Alex raised his voice and quickly scooped up the baby as if to snatch her away from me.
A fake parent, don't touch my baby. I'm only here because Emma insisted, so don't get any ideas.
Even though his newborn daughter was right there, Alex spat out those harsh words without a second thought. I was so shocked that I couldn't find any words to respond.
I never wanted to show you my kid's face in the first place. But we had something else to do today, so we came by. Don't think for a second that I'd let you hold her.
Since getting married, Alex had moved out and was living with Emma in their new home. He hardly ever came back to the house, but I thought that distance was actually good for us. But it seemed I was the only one who thought that way. For Alex, nothing had changed since the day he learned the truth. He still harbored the same resentment towards me for keeping the secret all those years. The tension between us was palpable. As that awkward silence hung in the air, Alex's phone started ringing. When he looked at the screen, his expression changed dramatically. Still holding the baby, he suddenly headed toward my piano practice room. Why is he going in there? I followed him, puzzled, and found him staring at the crystal piano while speaking in a cryptic tone to the person on the other end of the line.
Yes, the company's name is engraved on it. If this really is the crystal piano, you'd better offer a good price. Let's see. The company name is...
The company name, engraved, and money. The moment I heard those words, I felt the blood drain from my face. Panicking, I rushed into the room, only to be met with a hostile glare from Alex.
What do you want? Can't you see I'm on the phone? Get out.
Realizing I might have caught onto something, Alex quickly stepped away from the piano and started yelling at me. But I wasn't intimidated. I confronted him directly with my suspicions. What do you think you're doing with that piano? I had overheard him checking the company's name and talking about money. It was clear to me that Alex was trying to sell the piano, but I wasn't going to let that happen. I quickly stepped in front of him, shielding the crystal piano behind me.
It's not a big deal. A friend told me it's a rare piano, so I was just checking its value.
Alex, using a tone he usually doesn't, was clearly trying to downplay the situation. His casual attitude only made me more furious, and I couldn't help but frown. That piano is more precious to me than my own life. If you're planning to sell it, I won't allow it. What gives you the right to even think about doing such a thing? It's beyond outrageous. There was no way I could believe him after hearing that phone call. I immediately snatched his phone and hung up. Alex glared at me, his anger exploding in a shout that echoed through the room.
What the hell are you doing, you old hag?
The baby, who had calmed down a bit, started crying loudly again. Don't you dare sell that piano without my permission. It belongs to me. What right do you have to do something like that?
Shut up. When you kick the bucket, all your stuff's going to be mine anyway. So, How I deal with what'll be mine is none of your damn business.
Alex snatched his phone back aggressively. Legally, as his adoptive parent, Alex indeed has inheritance rights. But I never intended for that piano to be sold. I was thinking of donating this piano to the city after my death. That's why I can't forgive Alex for what he's doing. Trying to sell the piano I cherished as if it were his own, without my consent, is completely unacceptable. The argument between us continued for some time. I tried to tell Alex just how despicable his actions were, but that only seemed to push his anger to the breaking point. Suddenly, he started rampaging around the room, throwing everything he could find off the shelves and walls.
Don't you dare tell me what to do, old hag. What's the point of all this junk? I'm just trying to make better use of it, so don't you dare mess with me.
Holding my grandchild, I felt the danger and desperately tried to stop him, but his strength was overwhelming. There was no way I could match the strength of a grown man, and my trophies, certificates, and everything else came crashing to the floor. Alex, stop! Please, just stop! My grandchild, who was in his arms, cried endlessly in terror, turning the house into a scene straight out of hell. Someone, please help. At that moment, a loud cracking sound echoed through the room, and both Alex and I froze. When I looked over, I saw that a trophy Alex had thrown had struck the crystal piano. A crack had formed where it hit, and part of the piano was chipped. At that moment, I felt something inside me snap. Emma, hearing the commotion, rushed in and was left speechless at the sight.
I heard some loud noises from outside. Are you okay? Wait, what happened here?
Mom took my phone and started yelling, so I got pissed off but it's no big deal. We can just take it to a repair shop and it'll be fine in no time.
Alex, perhaps trying to calm Emma down, suddenly switched to a brighter tone and approached me. He placed his hand on my shoulder, squeezing it tightly, as if to silently warn me not to say anything to Emma. But I just kept my head down and didn't respond. Normally, I'd try to be considerate and respond to Alex's words, but at that moment, I couldn't bring myself to do it. Noticing my silence, Alex looked puzzled, tilting his head. Meanwhile, Emma dropped her phone to the floor and covered her mouth with both hands.
No, this can't be happening.
Emma started trembling as if in despair. Seeing her reaction, Alex turned toward her, confused, only to be met with Emma grabbing the collar of his shirt and shouting at him.
Do you have any idea what you've done? Don't you know this piano is one of only 5 crystal pianos in the world? It's not something that can be easily repaired.
What?
Alex exclaimed in shock. And no wonder. Most crystal pianos are made of acrylic resin. But the one I own was specially made from real crystal by a renowned manufacturer, famous worldwide. The fact that the exterior was damaged meant that a part of the crystal was chipped. There's no one in America who can repair it. The only option is to contact the original manufacturer in China to fix it. That's how rare this piano is. The CEO of that company was so moved by one of my performances that he had it custom made for me as a token of appreciation, asking me to share its beauty with the world. It's not something you can just call a repairman to fix on the spot. Hearing this from Emma, Alex turned pale. And then Emma dropped another bombshell.
And you think fixing it will be cheap? Do you have any idea how much this piano costs? $3 million. That's how much. There's no way the repair costs would only be a few $100s.
$3 million?
Alex was stunned by the amount, far beyond anything he could have imagined. He looked at me for confirmation, but I didn't say a word. I just walked over to the crystal piano, picked up the chipped piece, and said nothing. I didn't even hear Alex's words.
Mom, I'm sorry. I had no idea.
Realizing how serious the situation was, Alex finally began to understand the gravity of what he had done and tried to gauge my reaction, peering at my face for any sign of forgiveness. I responded to Alex with just a single phrase. "It's over." He had destroyed the piano I cherished like my own child, along with the trophies and certificates I held dear. I had reached my breaking point. I lifted my head and shocked Alex with my words. "It's over. I don't need your apology." Alex, taking my words at face value, sighed in relief, his hand resting on his chest as if a weight had been lifted. He probably misunderstood, thinking that his apology had earned him my forgiveness. Just as he began to smile in relief and was about to say more to me, it happened.
You're forgiving me, right? Thank you.
"I'll be sending you the bill for the repairs, and I'm also cutting off our relationship as parent and child. So, no need for your apologies."
What?
I cut Alex off, hitting him with my words. Alex, who never expected me to demand reparations and disown him, let out a shocked gasp, cold sweat forming on his forehead.
You've got to be kidding, right? It's just a little chip. You don't have to go that far.
I've been thinking about this for a long time, wondering if this is how things should be. But the truth is, I did hurt you by keeping the truth from you. So, I've tried to endure whatever you did to me. I thought it was my responsibility to bear it because I hurt you by staying silent. I've been holding on for decades, thinking I shouldn't run away from that responsibility. No matter what he did, I gritted my teeth and kept hoping that someday he would understand. I thought that maybe once he had a child, Alex's perspective would change. Maybe this baby could help repair our relationship. I had held on to that hope. But instead, he had reduced everything I cherished to ruins right before my eyes. There was no reason for me to endure any longer, especially since he had even tried to sell my piano that meant so much to me. I had no desire to leave any inheritance to someone like him, so when I told him I was cutting ties, Alex quickly tried to win me over again.
Don't say that. You know, you won't be able to see your grandchild easily if we cut ties. Are you really okay with that?
His voice wavered with anxiety as he tried to use my grandchild to threaten me. But I wasn't going to back down from his threats. I crossed my arms and spoke to him firmly. "I don't mind. Emma will keep me updated, and I'm only cutting ties with you. This has nothing to do with Emma or my granddaughter."
That's no right. Of course it has something to do with them. The baby is my child, and Emma is my wife. If you cut ties with me, that means you're cutting ties with them too.
No, it doesn't.
Emma cut him off sharply, seeing through his desperate attempt to threaten me further. She took the baby from Alex as if snatching her away and looked at him with a gaze full of contempt.
This only affects your relationship with Catherine. It has nothing to do with me or the baby. There's no law that says I can't see her, so of course, we'll still visit. What nonsense are you spouting?
Alex was stunned, clearly not expecting Emma to turn against him and side with me. As soon as she took the baby into her arms, the little one calmed down and began to sleep peacefully.
You're just going to abandon me?
You can't even properly take care of a newborn, and you've trashed this room. On top of that, you don't even respect other people's belongings. Who in their right mind would defend a worthless jerk like you? It's ridiculous.
Emma bluntly stated the hard truth. Her sharp words filled me with a sense of relief and satisfaction.
Catherine is like a mother to me too. If you can't respect someone who's important to me, then you're not needed in my life or this baby's life. That's more than enough reason to leave you.
It seemed this was the first time Alex had been spoken to so harshly, and he was devastated by Emma's words. He could only look at her helplessly, with no sign of a rebuttal. Seizing the moment, I hit him with my own words. And by the way, don't think it's just the piano repair costs. I'm going to charge you for everything you destroyed in this room. The moment Alex heard that, he snapped back to reality and turned his gaze toward me.
If you do this, it'll make life harder for Emma and the baby. Is that what you want?
I couldn't believe he still thought he could continue living with Emma and the baby. Emma, who had been listening beside him, was just as shocked, her mouth hanging open in disbelief.
You're only supposed to punish me, but if you demand the repair costs, it'll affect Emma and the baby too. Is that really what you want? Aren't they important to you?
Hearing this empty threat, I couldn't help but sigh. He probably thought this would make me back down. But that wasn't going to happen. Because it wasn't me who responded, but Emma.
Don't assume we'll be the ones who suffer. I'm divorcing you. We'll be just fine.
What?
Alex was thrown off balance by Emma's mention of divorce. I was astonished that he hadn't noticed this was coming, even after hearing the conversation.
Divorce? What kind of nonsense is that? We just had a baby, and this is the time to work together as a couple. How can you even think of splitting up now?
And you think a man who still destroys things in a fit of rage, even with a newborn in the house, is someone we need as a father?
Alex desperately tried to convince her otherwise, throwing out arguments left and right. However, as each of his arguments was systematically shut down, the color gradually drained from his face. No matter what he tried to say, Emma counted his words, and to top it off, he realized that I had completely abandoned him. Realizing that he was no longer needed, he suddenly began to panic.
You've been blaming Catherine for staying silent all these years, throwing tantrums in the house like a child. Do you even know how old you are? You're not some kid who doesn't know right from wrong anymore, yet you still act like this. Who needs someone like that around? We're better off without you.
Faced with this harsh reality, Alex shook his head in denial, as if trying to escape the truth.
It's unthinkable. If I imagine my own child doing something like you, I'd be devastated. So, it's over. I'm divorcing you.
Emma glared at Alex with a steely gaze.
Please reconsider.
Never expecting things to come to this, Alex desperately apologized and begged Emma to reconsider.
I don't want a divorce. I don't want to leave you, Emma.
That's impossible. You still behave like this toward your parent who raised you. Who could trust you to take care of a child? You have no trust, no reliability. There's no point in staying married to someone like that.
It was a perfectly reasonable statement. However, Alex had never been spoken to so coldly by Emma, and the shock left him utterly defeated. He looked down with no answer.
I'm glad I found out your true nature before my baby grew up. I thought you had matured and settled down, but it turns out people don't change that easily. I've learned that the hard way.
At that moment, I noticed how much pain was etched on Emma's face, She must have placed her hopes on Alex as well. She had hoped that having a child would turn him into a loving father who cherished his family, placing her last bit of faith in him. But instead, he had utterly betrayed her trust and destroyed something so precious to someone else. Emma was the one who was truly heartbroken. Just thinking about what she must be feeling made my heart ache. But Alex remained silent, oblivious to her suffering. Unable to bear it any longer, Emma finally asked him,
Why did you go on such a rampage?
Well,
Alex averted his eyes uncomfortably. That makes sense. He couldn't possibly admit that he had been caught trying to sell the piano and lashed out in anger as a way to vent his frustration. However, Emma wasn't going to let Alex off the hook that easily.
If you don't speak up, I'll make sure all our friends know about this.
Realizing he had no other choice, Alex finally confessed.
I was trying to sell the piano.
The moment he said that, Emma flashed a frightening smile and covered our child's ears with both hands.
Could you cover your ears for a moment, please?
Then she turned to me and smiled. What is she going to do? I wondered as I watched. Emma took a deep breath and then, to my surprise, yelled at Alex with a voice that shook the room.
I thought you said you paid off that debt.
Alex let out a small scream, collapsing to the ground in fear, visibly shaken by the force of her voice. Even I, standing nearby, was shocked by the intensity of her outburst.
You told me when I was pregnant that you had some stupid gambling debt, but that it was paid off so we could get married.
What? It turned out that Alex had a debt of $60,000 right before he married her. He had lost badly in gambling, and in an attempt to recover, he kept gambling, racking up a $60,000 debt. Alex, believing he couldn't marry Emma without paying off his debt, lied to her, claiming he had settled it and planned to sell my piano to cover the remaining debt. When I heard this, I trembled with anger, glaring at Alex.
No, I wasn't really trying to sell it. I was just curious about how much the piano was worth, so I checked. I wasn't planning to sell it to pay off any debt.
Alex forced a nervous laugh, trying to cover up his intentions. Frustrated, I demanded that he show proof of repayment. Then show me the receipt that proves you paid it off.
What?
If you've paid it off properly, you should have a receipt. Show it to me.
Well, I didn't get a receipt, so I can't really prove it.
Alex mumbled, avoiding eye contact as his eyes darted around the room. Seeing his pathetic behavior made my anger boil over, and I could feel the veins pulsing at my temples. Don't even think about trying to lie your way out of this. You can't fool me. Alex had never been yelled at by me before, and he let out a pitiful cry. The more he spoke, the more my frustration grew. I never wanted to throw my past kindness in his face, but after being repaid with such betrayal, there was no way I could forgive him. I'm done thinking of you as my son.
What do you mean by that?
Ignoring his question, I took out my phone and immediately contacted a lawyer I knew. Oh, you can come right away? Thank you. That's a big help.
Who are you calling?
A lawyer I know. They'll be here soon, and we'll discuss everything with them. Hearing this, Alex's lips began to tremble. He probably realized what was about to happen. Desperate, he clung to my legs, crying and begging for forgiveness.
Mom, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I won't sell anything, and I'll pay for the damages. Even if it takes me a lifetime, please don't dissolve the adoption.
No matter how much he cried and pleaded, I had no intention of forgiving him. Having finally made up my mind to end our parent-child relationship, I spoke to him without hesitation. I'm glad you can see where this is going. If you were so perceptive, maybe you should have thought about the consequences before acting. Too bad for you. Alex ran to my feet, sobbing uncontrollably, clinging to me with a desperate, pitiful look on his face. His pathetic display didn't even evoke pity in me. I tried to pry Alex off my legs as he clung to me desperately, but his strength was too much for me. Feeling annoyed, I sighed and spoke to him in a tone colder than I had ever used before. Please let me go.
No, I won't let go until you forgive me.
Let go. The sudden change in my tone startled Alex, making him flinch and look up at me in fear. I gave him a cold stare, and Alex took his hand off my leg as if he were frightened. No matter how much you apologize, I have no intention of forgiving you. It's pointless. Paying for what you've done over your lifetime is the bare minimum, and it's not even a condition worth considering.
No way.
Faced with the harsh reality that nothing he did would change my mind, Alex was at a loss for words. I knelt down in front of him, looking him straight in the eye. Do you have any idea how much it hurt to apologize over and over and never be forgiven? Thinking that agreeing with me might save him from being disowned, Alex's tear-streaked face lit up with a glimmer of hope, and he nodded desperately.
I understand. I really do. I realize now how terrible I've been. I'll make up for it from now on, so please.
Then, do me a favor, and don't ever show your face to me again.
What?
His voice was high-pitched with disbelief. I delivered the final blow to crush his hopes completely. To be honest, I don't want to see your face anymore. I don't want anyone to know that someone as pathetic as you is related to me. So, we're going to dissolve the adoption. You're on your own to deal with the debt you've accumulated.
No.
Realizing it was all over, Alex collapsed to the floor, and shortly after, the lawyer arrived. After that, Emma and I discussed the future with Alex in my home, with the lawyer present. However, Alex refused both the divorce and the disownment, throwing a tantrum and becoming uncontrollable. We had no choice but to call the police. He was arrested for property damage. Emma and I didn't want to deal with Alex anymore, so we left the rest to the lawyer. When the lawyer informed him that if he continued to refuse the divorce and disownment, it would have to go to court, Alex, who didn't have the money for that, finally gave up. He agreed to our demands. We decided to sue him for several $100,000 in damages for the property destruction, harassment, and all the other despicable acts he had committed. Since then, Emma has been working as a pianist at my music school. Being a single mother and taking care of her child is incredibly challenging. So I suggested she teach piano to the children at my school during her free time while raising her child. We even perform together now. Children who come to our performances are drawn to the crystal piano, just like Emma was back then, and many of them have started attending our school. One day during a performance, Emma and I played a duet on the crystal piano. Our perfect harmony caught everyone's attention, and we were featured in the local newspaper. From there, our reputation gradually grew, and now many children come to learn at our school. After that incident, I tearfully apologized to the CEO of the company that made the crystal piano. He immediately brought a repair team to the US to fix it. And within less than a week, they had repaired the piano. In return, he asked me to perform in China, offering to waive the repair costs in exchange for a free concert. Moved by his generosity, I decided to take Emma and my granddaughter to China next month. Emma and I laughed as we talked about recording the performance, so that one day my granddaughter would also come to appreciate the beauty of the piano.